Hi guys, this is a quick video, a hand stitching tip video. It's one of my tips. One of the things that we all know is we get two needles and we push one needle through and we coil a stitch over the back. That's okay, that's the beginnings of learning to hand stitch. Yeah, you have to understand the two needles. There's a lot more to hand stitching than just putting two needles back and forward. If we use my awl blade here for example, you can see it's quite a long blade I use. The one the wife uses about half the size of this, but it's quite narrow at the top and then it gets wider all the way down. So what I have to do is I have to push this through the leather, and if I push it all the way through then the hole becomes bigger. Now sometimes I want the hole bigger, certainly if I'm doing a loop or something it makes it easier for my needle to get through. So I don't want to waffle on too much, but so this is a little tip in order that your stitches have to remain the same depth all the way through. You can't have one stitch coming through, I'll just move my fingers out of the way in a second, that depth, and then the next stitch coming through all the way through here, because your holes would be bigger, your stitches would be in a mess. So the trick is, in order to make sure that every stitch remains at this depth, yeah, whatever depth suits you, this is, I'm just saying this depth. So there is a trick you can use that you can assure at every stitch. If I put that through there, you can see the depth in this is the same as the last one, and I'll go to the next one. So if I come through this one, and the same, this is the depth, but sometimes the leather's a bit softer, and yeah, you do that. So then that stitch is going to look out of place. So my little tip here, in order to show you how to keep the depth all the same all the way through, and it's quite a simple tip. I've actually got another awl here to hand. Just bag it up with a lot of leather, see that? Now I can put more on, so what this means now, I'll just drop this down. So if I use this, and I decide that's the depth that I'm going to work from, and I put that through there, that's my stitch there. No matter how far I push that through, it will always be the same depth. So therefore my stitch holes. Now I can make it, if I wanted it this way, that depth, then I'll just put another couple of pieces of leather on the end of it. So it's a little tip. And the other thing about being leather is it's not going to bruise this leather here. So it's not as if you're going to have the hard casing of this push against it, because if that went all the way through in a slip, then this itself could mark the leather. Well, leather's not going to mark leather. So my little tip for you today is just to shorten your awl down a bit more than me. I like a long awl, as I say, the wife's is half the sizes. But if I wanted this to be shorter and not go through as much, I'll just put another couple of pieces of leather on, and then that means that my depth will always be the exact same no matter what hole I make, it'll always be the same depth. Therefore that's a way to help improve it. Now rather than just give you a little short video on that, I'm going to throw in another little tip for you. It's not one I do because I don't put these leathers on there, but I'm saying it's a good tip for you. The next thing you have to know is, you can see this is, oops, hang on, get you back in camera. This is flat, yeah? It's not, it's diamond shaped, but it's wide. And you know your stitches all lie at an angle. Now I've got something here just to show you, because I'm about to do another video on hand stitching. Let me show you. So if I use this, where we are, you can see these all lie at an angle. Now what I don't want to do, and I'll do it for this one, but as I say, I'm going to use this in a second. I want this all, I'll just push it through there. Oh, it's tough not doing it in my clamps. I want this awl to go, I don't know if it's showing up there or not. I want the awl to go basically I don't think it's showing up in the video. I want the awl to go at the exact same angle as the stitches that I'm making up here. Now you can have a tendency to do it, I'll just get a piece of scrap over here. So if I say this is the angle I want it to go at, oops, all the way through. If I say that's the angle I want it to go at, right, so the next one, if I put it through at a different angle, so I don't get my awl blade the right way around. Hopefully that shows up. Yeah, you can see these are two different angles. They almost look the same. So there is a little tip you can do. Mine, how I do it, how I keep my stitches at the right angle, and it's part of the reason my blades is long. When I'm putting it through, I actually put my finger on here. on the flatness of the blade, and that seems to put this at the same. So if I do this, my finger's on the blade to start with, now I know I'm lined up, and then I'll squeeze through. So again, finger on the blade, then I'll squeeze through. So that's one little tip. The other little tip you can do is, if you decide that this is the angle of that blade in relation to the angle of your stitches, if you look where my thumb is, so my thumb ends up here in all my stitches. So all I've got to do, and I think I showed this in another video, is all I've got to do just here, and I'll do it on this one. I think it's the wrong place I'm doing it. Is just carve a piece of wood out here. I don't know if that's shown in camera there. Yeah, so I carve that piece of wood. So every time I come and pick this all up off I feel for that there, and that tells me that the angle's the same all the time. So if I pick it up, my thumb's on this cut and I can feel it, yeah, and that tells me my angle's lying right. So okay, just a quick recap. This video is about not the simple bit of putting 2 needles through and coiling over at the back. And so there is a lot more to hand stitching, and I have other videos that maybe give you some other tips. One of the tips today, as I say, is to make sure that your awl remains the same depth all the way through, so it's constant. And how to do that is to fill your roll up with leather, and then that just makes sure that your depth is right. The other little tip I just gave you there is the awl has to remain at the same angle. So my way of doing it is I put my finger on the blade, and then I can feel that. It's just an automatic thing for me now, and I know it's there. Then I transfer my finger over back so as I can pull through. What you can do if you wanted is carve a little piece of the wood out so that your thumb always lands on. Take a bit more than this out because I can hardly feel that. So taking off that you do it, so your thumb's always there. So you've got the angle right, and if I use this one, if I had cut it out of this one, my thumb would automatically be on there. My depth is absolutely spot on because that's the depth I want. If I wanted the shallow, obviously put more leather on. So everything, it helps towards making better hand stitching. So okay guys, as usual, I'm hoping that's of use to you. I'm going to get on and start another video showing you how to do loops and stuff, so I'll do that now. But thanks for watching guys.